Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Free the Trade. This is DK 305007. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in this morning. A lot to cover today. We want to go over how tariffs have impacted people. We want to go over news of new tariffs that impacted the market yesterday. We also want to go over a couple of tools that I think are really going to help people out as far as making some of the trades that we've done on their own, or figuring out what's the best way to make good use of your capital to bring in the most profit safely or in accordance with your risk tolerance. So yeah, now that is now that we've got a roadmap of where we're going, let's just go ahead and get started. We're going to jump in and just kind of do exactly what we do every morning whenever we wake up and begin to take a look at the market. So let's do it. All right, first things first, we're going to wake up. We're going to take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. What we hope to gain by this is, number one, we're going to look at the previous close, which would have been the day before. We want to look at the current number that the Fear and Greed Index is sitting at. And this is basically going to let us understand what's going on in the market since the last time that we were in the stock market trading. So looks like there's been a bit of a dip, and we are familiar with this. We know exactly what happened. Tariffs were announced. Actually, if you tuned in on the Discord, there was a live that was sent out there, which was the actual announcement of the auto tariffs. Now, they kind of had a soft to medium impact on the market, but the market reacted pretty adversely to it initially. So we had already had our dip, so nothing really happened when the actual announcement came out. All right, let's go on. Let's see. A lot going on here. We're starting to move back to extreme fear. We had kind of had a couple of days where we popped out of the extreme fear level, jumped into the fear level, pushed up. I think I saw us at hit like 33 once, but for sure in the 30s. And now we're trading back down at 29. So still a lot of fear in the market. That's the first thing we check. Second thing we check, the news. So we're going to go ahead and hit Yahoo Finance. And yeah, we're just going to take a look through here. Take a look at futures here, which actually, unfortunately, are trading a little bit down, but they're kind of sideways. So I don't know. We're going to take a look at those. Dow futures are actually up. I don't know why S&P 500 futures and the NASDAQ are down while the Russell and Dow is up. Interesting. All right. Uncertainty. All right, and this is the 25% tariffs on foreign-made vehicles. This is something that we are well aware of. Interesting. There's some decent. Let's see. Huh. Okay, we've got a good idea of the news. We kind of understand what the fear and sentiment, or the fear and greed indicator is saying. So what market or investor sentiment is. Let's hop into the charts. All right. Let's get that day view. 15, 5, and 1 minute charts here. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. So we've had 3 peaks with highs at 570 today. But we've seen it starkly driven down. And I mean starkly driven down. That's really interesting. I'm not exactly sure why that would happen. Yeah, that's very strange market momentum or market movements. Let's go ahead and quickly take a look here. Same thing. Once again, we're having, wow, just straight 485.21 high and a 482 low. That's a $3 difference in price almost. Wow. Not sure what's causing that, honestly. I have a couple suspicions, but yeah, basically, if you're just tuning in, we're looking at the price of SPY, QQQ, IWM. Futures are kind of split overnight due to the auto tariffs. However, we're noticing a really, really interesting, strange trend You look at, say, the 5-minute charts here. I'm going to zoom out, and we hit this high of 570. We hit the high of 570 again, and all night it was hitting this high and being driven straight back down. It's kind of more apparent over here on the 1-minute chart. 569, 570. Just every time it would hit these levels, it would just immediately be driven right back down. So we got some interesting action going on in the market. Actually, I'm pretty it's interesting. I'm gonna ask Frank about it too, because I want to know if he's seeing what I'm seeing. Yeah, some crazy stuff going on there. But yeah, basically today we're just going back through the morning process, figuring out how we're doing our analysis, and then we're just gonna show some tools to make you guys more capital efficient when trading options. And I think it's time to start looking at a different time frame rather than 0 DTEs. Maybe looking out a couple days, doing some swing trades and stuff. So that's what we're going to be focusing on in the meantime. We did take a look at the Fear and Greed Index. We noticed it's at 29, which is up slightly from the close of yesterday at 28. Looked through the news. We saw tariffs, auto tariffs on non-American cars. We were aware of those yesterday, and if we watched the live stream, you got to see that happen live. The tariffs have pushed down futures just slightly, but they keep trying to make these peaks and are being really shut down all throughout the night. Same across the board on the different indexes. Dow futures are actually up. The IWM or Russell futures are up. The NASDAQ and the SPY futures are down. But they're all really close to break even, or right there on the border. So I'm suspecting that it's wanting to take off. But as I was saying earlier, there's a lot of really crazy price action here where they're making these big old pushes up, hitting 570 and then immediately getting shut down, and that happened 3 times last night. Each time that it happened, there was a major sell-off, a spike in volume, and then you walk away. Could be a lot of different things. It's hard to say, but these are really interesting spikes to take note of for sure. But yeah, that's kind of the quick overview of where SPY's at. So really, just going over what we've done. We've done a quick little technical analysis. Next, I'd probably go and take a look at the week chart. We're not doing it there. Let's do it there actually. We'll do the week and the 30-minute. 3 minutes. Who's ready? We're ready. Or maybe even the hour. Do I not have an hour on here? There we go. All right, and what we're going to do is just quickly go through here and mark the price action. Currently trading here. We've got, boom. We'll do that one. I wish we could do the candle body. We've got a major one up at 570 or thereabouts. Let's see. Just put this guy here. And we'll put another one when we hit that first 570. Where did it go? Interesting. All right. I think that's a good one there. Have another little bit of a spike there. Totally did not mean to put that there, but oh well. Put this up here. Okay. All right, here's where we are for the week. Looks like we're trading kind of to the middle. But what's interesting is that our RSI is actually just about at the 30 mark. It's at 35.24. We're trading towards this new bottom support layer. So I think that's going to be our first main one that we take a look at this morning. I think we'll probably bounce off of that. Then we've got this 570 to deal with, which we've noticed has been a major resistance all day or all morning in pre-market. And then if we break through that one, we have this new high of 576.45. It's hard to say what's going to happen. What's really interesting is that we are trading exactly on the SMA 200 right this second. And so I'm expecting to see a rebound from that. That being said, we now have our support and resistance levels drawn out on the week chart. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the day chart. And boom, here we are. Take another look at these, make sure it's all set and refreshed because the market is about to open here. Same with the news. We want to make sure that we always stay in the loop. And let's go ahead and pull up SPY and see if there's anything specific to SPY. All right, perfect. And lastly, we want to make sure that there's no like FOMC news or something like that coming out that's literally going to make everything we've just done absolutely useless. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the market. It is now 8:31 a.m. And what we're going to do now that the market is open, we're going to sit back and we're going to watch and see what happens to that support level. And yeah, we'll go from there. Looks like we are bouncing off of it a little bit. Have a dragonfly doji right here. Let's just watch and see what happens. And immediately looks like we are going into a bullish trend. Okay, other than mixed sentiment, there's really not much else going on in the market, so I think we're good to trade today. And yeah, let's take a look here. All right, and we are quickly turning. went into a doji candle. Now we are dropping pretty strongly. For what price we hit? High of 567.52. Very strong downward candle. And we are heading into our first bottom support. We are under or oversold on the RSI, 21 point or 20 now. We're heading into the 20s on the RSI. Honestly, it's just one of those things that we're going to sit back and wait for now. Just to make sure. Still watching NVIDIA. Absolutely, we're still watching NVIDIA. Do you think the markets may react to Trump doubling down on his April 2nd tariffs? And I think they're already priced in, Roger. We've seen we saw the initial drop yesterday as he announced auto tariffs and such. It kind of overreacted. Then all of a sudden, the next day, the market swings right back up. Futures are up. I really don't think we have too much to worry about them. Really, I think the media has overblown the financial impact on the market. And I think it's showing because of how volatile it is. I mean, if it was really... honestly, we've not seen the impact of tariffs like this ever. So we don't really know. And so any person who is surmising has to, they should honestly be honest. Like, hey, we really haven't seen this before. So we don't have the historical data to say, oh, this is probably what's going to happen. No, we just have our own opinion or, basically our own opinion based off of what we think. And so it's hard to say the actual impact, but I personally feel like it's been overblown, and I feel like the market's indicated that by its swift rebounds after every single announcement. So do I think that it'll have an impact? Yes, I do. Do I think it's the impact that we're seeing in the markets? I do feel like it's been an overreaction, which is kind of a normal thing. Whenever there's news, a lot of times the market will overreact to that news. Frank is actually here now. Let's have him take a look at this. And Frank, I don't know if you're listening, but basically there were some 570 levels all throughout the evening and the night. And every time we hit 570, we immediately rejected off of it very, very strongly. And it's just very interesting that they all happen around that exact same level. And if you look at the price action and the candles where they rejected, it's kind of crazy. But there was at least like 3 or 4 throughout the evening or throughout the pre-market. This is really one of the most interesting is at 7. 132,043. That's a lot of volume. When you look at the next candles and it's 650, that's like a day candle. Like that's like a normal thing. So obviously there's an institution or something who was pumping it all throughout the night. Massive bear flag. We can take a look at that for sure. Let's go out a little bit. It does have a little bit of a semblance to a bear flag here. Now, if you're not familiar with the bear flag, let's go ahead and take a look. It's a candle formation caused by, or that basically illustrates a large dip in the stock market, followed by a short correction period, and then a longer, harder, deeper bearish trend or movement. So I'm going to illustrate that. Let's see, bear flag candlestick pattern. All right, and no, a bear flag is not bullish. So this is generally a bearish flag pattern. Once again, strong move down. That's your initial flag pull. Then you have this sideways period of trading up and down, and then you have another strong downwards movement. Taking a look at this, you know, it does have some of the semblances of that. You can see another bear flag right here on the market. It's hard to say though. Yeah, Frank, I do see what you're talking about. I do think though that it's drawn out over a larger period. Generally the bear flag patterns and such tend to work best in day trading. When we're looking at this period, you know, we're looking at February to April. A lot can happen within that, and so I personally, I just don't, because if you look, I mean, even within the structure, I don't think so. It does have a similarity to it. I don't think it's really, yeah, I don't think it's smart to use some of the day trading indicators on a larger basis sometimes, just because so much can happen. But I do agree with what you're saying there. I do see that kind of a bear flag formation there. I think what's really interesting is that a lot of it seems like there's some, it just seems like there's a ton of institutions buying into, which is something that you would expect once you get to a certain level. And it's really concerning. It's hard to quantify what's going on in the stock market. But if you look at these early morning levels, these are not normal. This is not normal. This 576, I'm sorry, this, where is it? This candle with 132,000 is not normal for a pre-market session. We go over here and it hitting off that same level again, albeit with a lot less volume. That is not normal for it to do this. Once again, another 963 volume. Something is going on, and it's the institutions and banks, because they're the ones who are able to make those trades, you know, in the pre-market sessions and such. So there's something going on, and it has to do with this 570 level. I would be interested to look into the order flow for this. I wonder if we can actually take a look here. This is a really neat tool. Some of you may have heard of this before, but basically it's called Options Strat, or Option Strat, no S, I guess. There's a lot of really neat features in it. Has a premium subscription, but honestly, the free one is super good. And so I'm going to actually show you kind of some things you can see in this. And I intended to do this today anyways, but I think this just is a perfect segue into it. Basically what Option Strat is, it's a tool that helps you look at the options that are available on the market, understand kind of the dynamics around them, set up your positions and analyze them, and then figure out what option strategies are the best for your particular strategy or the trade that you have in mind. Second, you can also take a look at this flow. The flow is basically any of the options trades that are going on a particular ticker. You can click on it, take a look, and see what the banks are doing, see what the big money is doing. Just kind of give you some insight into what's going on in the market. So I actually think this is going to be something interesting to take a look at here. So we've got slightly delayed data, a lot of options flow on this right here is the Russell SPY. These are all futures here. So probably need to wait about 2 more minutes for the actual tickers to come in play, or stocks on the stock market, since it's been less than 15 minutes since the market has opened here. I do not have access to the premium plan, so we'll just have to wait another 2 minutes. In the meantime, let's actually take a look at this, because this is super cool tool. Basically, here is a outline of like almost any options trade you can do. I mean, very, very thorough. If you click optimize, you can say, hey, I want to create a trade for SPY. It'll have its current levels. It's probably set, it's 15-minute delay, so it's probably set to what it closed at, since it hasn't updated since market open. Then you'll set your time frame down here on the bottom. If you want to do 0 DTE options, that would be here. If we wanted to do a trade for tomorrow, we could do one there. We could take a look at SPY's price, go over here and say, okay, it's at 565.38. We have, looks like it's going up into an upward trend. So we could say, hey, it's at, I'm expecting it to hit 565 or 566. Let's go with 566. Boom. Now you can actually enter a trade budget, which is really neat. Say you have $400 you want to drop on this trade. Here's what you can do. You have 3 different options, or 3 different strategies, option strategies. And let me give you a breakdown. I do agree with you, Frank, on the 200 MA. I actually was commenting about that earlier. Frank said we're gonna have a real problem if we break that 200 MA. I agree. That's a super strong support level. If we break that, then we could potentially see another downturn. Okay, back to this. So let me explain this. This is the bear call spread. This is the bear put spread. This is the call, or like a broken wing butterfly. And yeah, these are the 3 options that you're able to make and trade with a budget of $400, target price of 566 on SPY. Okay, let's talk about this. The return on risk is going to be your profitability, or your capital efficiency. So if you have $400 and you choose this right here, you're going to get 74% of your risk price back in this trade if it goes successfully. In this case, because we're risking 115, we could do a couple different contracts of this one. So maybe instead of doing 1 for 115, we could do 2 for 230, and then double our profit to like what, 170. And it would be a 74% return on whatever that risk amount is. Likewise, on the bear put spread, $133 in profit, $167 in risk, about an 80% return on our risk. And then on the call broken wing, the butterfly, broken wing butterfly, we'd have 160 return on risk. We would risk $231 and pull in $369 in profit at our max profit. So that's just a basic, super helpful tool. Now you take a look at this and you're like, hey, I'm not really happy with this. I prefer, maybe more return, or maybe I want a safer trade. You can now take this slider and adjust it, and it will actually give you a riskier and more high reward strategy. So instead of like an 80% or a 73% return, now you have 156. Or you could go the opposite way and say, hey, I want a really safe trade. You know, it might only be a 0.7% return, but, you know, I'm probably going to make that, and it's probably a pretty safe bet. Or, you know, any level in between those two. Alternatively, you can actually take out your price and kind of get a better overview. For this particular trade, because the options data is slightly delayed, I'm actually going to refresh here, and hopefully that fixes that. So 566, still slightly delayed. We can go in here and choose one of these trades, and let's see, 13% return, not a super safe trade. Let's find something a little better here. Not really anything here that's standing out. Let's do like a neutral trade then, since that's more okay. This is an interesting one. Or something like this. What if we did something like that here? 557 and 577. We haven't seen any of those levels recently. Let's actually open this up in the builder and take a look. All right, here is the builder. The builder is a really cool feature. This is crazy. So if you go down here to graph, you can get kind of a better understanding of what's going on. This is your options trade. Bought options are on top, sold options are on the bottom. This is how you set up an iron condor. It just basically has two credit spreads on either side of a middle price target. This actually matches what you would see in the market right now, the implied volatility. And yeah, this right here is the time. So right now, if we open this up, we would be at $0 or maybe $1.42 price. And as time passes on and as theta decay occurs, you can see our profitability increases in between these two blue break evens. And then at expiration, the break even is at 575.52 and 558.49, right there in the middle. This would be in 1.3 days. And yeah, Frank, that's the crazy price action we were seeing in the pre-market. It's obviously institutions. But I don't know what they're trying to prove or why. It really looks like they're fighting, honestly. And so, boom, the dip has been bought and it just shoots right up. Hard to say what's going on though. Hard to say. We know it's institutional buying, some of it. It's just really weird. All right, but back to this tool. So this is a really neat little tool. We now have our trade. We can go into the stock market and tweak it, whether that be by pulling these wings out a little bit farther to make it a little bit safer, or whatever we want. So awesome tool. Cool thing is you can actually go in here once you make your trade. You can actually set in, say we got this for 0.28 and we sold this one over here for like 0.7. If that was our actual trade, we can actually click save trade. We save it. Not only can you share it, I've actually shared a couple of these with you guys before. You share it and people can come in here and see your trade and monitor it. Monitor it till expiration. You can also leave and come back later and hit your positions. Or hang on, not familiar with where it is here, but basically there's a place on Option Strat that has all of your saved trades. But yeah, you can pull them back. So take a look at them again. It does have an app on App Store, iPhone, and then also Google Play. So I would recommend using this because it's a super helpful tool. I like to put all my trades in it. I don't always take the trade they suggest. Generally, I have a little bit of a twist on it. But I do take some of the trades, and it's super, super helpful to plug in trades I make and kind of get a good idea of if I should cut the trade free. Like, for instance, if I'm right here and it's like, 2 days before expiration, it's a downward trend and it's hovering right here, I might be down $50. Or if we look at the percent, I might be down like 297%. And you would be like, oh man, that's crazy. I better cut this trade free. But honestly, if you just wait, that same price level right here, you would be at 100% max profit. And so, good tool to help set your mind at ease and to help you know whether to cut the trade or stay in. So that's that. Let's go ahead and jump into the markets now, because we've been all right, we do have a little 1-point drop on the Fear and Greed Index. And here we go, 567. We are pushing back up towards that 200 EMA on the 1-minute chart. On the 5-minute, we're also doing the same thing. And on the 15-minute, we should be under it, yeah. With a target of about 572. This is just some crazy price action going on here. Wow. All right. And so as we stated at the beginning of the stream, today really might be a good opportunity to make some longer trades. Okay, this is interesting here. We are pushing through the 200 SMA. And it looks to be a really strong push. We're actually in an increasingly strong upward momentum, bull momentum. We're crossing over on the 5-minute. This is actually some pretty decent looking movement upward. If our trend is upwards for today, we could do potentially some calls, some put credit spreads, or we could sit back and watch and be safe and do a little bit slower, longer trades. So up to you what you trade. I do want to focus more on long-term strategies and not doing the 0 DTE options, since they can be kind of crazy, especially if you don't have a cash account. So all that to say, let's take a look at Tasty. For those of you who don't know, we did transfer our options account to Tasty Trade or Tasty Live. Actually, I think it used to be called Tasty Live. Now it's called Tasty Trade. But let's open it up. Tasty Trade is a new platform. It's made by the creators of TDA. I think TDA, or let's see, TD Ameritrade. I think it was Thinkorswim platform. They were the makers of that. Once that was bought out, I think by Charles Schwab, they created this new platform called Tasty Trade. Always been super, super concerned about teaching people options trade or trading in general. And yeah, they're super solid platform, and they're built around options traders. So if you're looking for like a desktop trading platform, I would definitely consider this one. I'm not sponsored. I have no affiliations with them. I do like their product quite a bit though. And let's throw this on the screen. Okay, this is Tasty Trade. Lots of stuff going on here. Super strong upward momentum that we noted earlier. 575. I want to look at these peaks because these peaks are so weird. Anyways. Looking good on the 5 minute here. Let's take a look at our positions today. All right. We have a couple of them. NVIDIA. We are up $6 here. This is an iron condor. Got a couple of different things here. It looks like we've got a couple of butterflies in play. Okay, looks like we have an iron condor and then some type of. Oh, this is no. This is not a butterfly. This is a credit spread. And it looks like it's a 0 DTE today, which is wonderful. So we are definitely going to need to manage that, either cut it loose or hold off on it. Looks like we're $4 out of the money. We do have some strong upwards movement. 71 and 72 is what we're watching on our prices. So that means a break even is about 71.50. I'm doing the math in my head, so it could be slightly off. But basically, we are needing SPY to hit these levels here for us to be profitable at the end of the day. That's a little bit out of reach for us at the moment, but we do have we could potentially see that level be profitable. This is going to be one of the harder decisions to make on whether to cut them or whether to sit back and hold, because we have a strong upwards trend. We've got a price target right here, which is about $2.5 away. If we look at our delta here, we have a $3 expected move, which falls perfectly over that $2.50 move that we need. And so the reality of it is that we could 100% see this closing in the money. If we close it right now, we're out of the money. If we hold it longer, we could see a potential loss. So it's kind of a hard decision to make here. Alistair's asking, are we still in for NVIDIA? Yes, we are. We have this iron condor set up here. And what I'm going to do is see if we can make this in the option strat platform. Just kind of take a look at what's going on and do a live analysis of this position real quick. Option strat, boom. We're going to build, and we're going to do a iron condor here. Let's put in NVIDIA, and we're basically just going to put our trade in, and I'll show you how to do this. We have a bot 111 put, so we're going to pull this over to 111. We're going to put in our price at, we open this one for 0.62. We have another one for 114 that we sold. And we sold that one for 148. We have another one, I believe, at 119. And then another one at 116. On the 116, we sold it for 133. And on the 119, we bought it for 42. All right, now we have that in place. I'm going to link these. I'm going to increase it. This is our current position. Let's pull back a little bit. All right. Currently, we are at 112.81, which is right about bear with us one moment here. All right, which is okay. So what I've done is I've gone in and entered these legs or these options into the option strat. These are exactly what I paid for them, the quantities and amounts on NVIDIA. And here's where we're at. Basically, it is trading at $112.88, which is right here. Remember, this is delayed data. I'm using the real data, so this 112.88 is going to be right about here, which is a 7% gain. If we look at the dollar amount, 112.88 is about $30 gain. So that's kind of where we're sitting at right now. This has 1 day till expiration, so as expiration goes or comes closer, that 112.88 is going to be worth about $129.44. If it continues to move upwards throughout the next day and hits the 114 level, we will actually gain about $354 in profit. If it stays below 116 and in between 114 and 116, we'll keep that max profit. And then if it goes up but doesn't quite hit 117.77, then we'll still be in profit. So at this point, because we are at 112.85, we're headed in a up direction. I am going to keep this one open. Although it is not super profitable right now, it definitely has the potential to be. So I am going to keep this one open. Someone also posted something in the chat. Let's see. Frank, that's actually a good point. I was thinking something similar. Basically, Frank said, if the past 20-minute rally is real, maybe this pre-market was a trap to get retail to sell so institution can fill their longs. I kind of agree with that. Basically, it looked very manipulated, and it looked like there was a lot of long positions going in play. Actually, let's take a look at the long flow and see what was going on for SPY. Now that it's been 15 minutes, we do have some information on what's going down. We definitely want to take a look here. And let's look for SPY. Okay. This is kind of a middle area on SPY. Interesting. Let's kind of look at these. Interesting. So those 567 calls that's very bearish right here down here. The 533 calls, if you're selling a call to open, you're expecting that SPY is going to fall below 533 before April 1st. And that's kind of crazy, honestly. I don't know if that's a great strategy, to be honest. But somebody with money thinks it is, so I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't have done that. The 555 puts, also very bearish. Sell 566 puts. Buy a 567 call. Interesting. I don't know if this was to close an order or to open an order. I almost want to buy the subscription for this just so I can see the pre-market data, because that's going to be where the secrets are, where the big money, the institutions, the banks, where they're making some of those trades that don't necessarily show up on the radar for everyone else. Part of me wonders if some of these weren't closing orders that they opened in pre-market. Anyways, interesting stuff. Back to this Nvidia. We're just gonna hold this one open. It expires tomorrow. Barring a major price movement in Nvidia, we should be decently profitable on this, and so that'll be super fun. That'll be exciting. Hopefully we hit max profit. If not, $130 isn't too terrible, which is what we would make about now, I believe. Yeah, somewhere around there. So not bad. What we want to make sure is we stay above that break even. That's our biggest concern. So we will be watching it, but we're not too worried about it right now. So that's the Nvidia play. One thing we could do is roll this bottom strike out a little more. Maybe even roll this one down. It would potentially ensure that we're profitable. Could potentially also take away a little bit of our profit, of our max profit, but who knows? That could be a move we do to manage it, since we're a little bit closer to expiration now. And let's go ahead and take a look at SPY again. I want to do some analysis on this other position here. We've got this 571 put. We have another 572 put. I'm going to go ahead and remove these two guys. And let's assess the damage here. Okay. Max profit, $32. Max loss, $68. Right now we're here. We've got a long ways to go to get our break even at 571.68. It was a little higher than 571.50, but about 571.68. Estimated margin $100, net credit $32. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna cut this one because we can free up $100 to do something different with today, and we're already down quite a bit. Taking a look at SPY. What is SPY? Current session is no valid, and it's deciding to log me out. So let's try this again. Going back to SPY. I mean, yeah, we're right here. So we're down $34 on this trade, which is about 50% of our max loss. I think we just go ahead and cut this one. So I am going to cut that one now. That's exactly what we're doing right this second. We'll open it up here and let's cut that one free. Boom, and it has filled. We have cut it. We are no longer in this position. Let me go ahead and cut back to Tasty Trade. Here are our current positions. Now we have a position open on NVIDIA. That's this right here. Iron Condor, we just went over. We have one position open on SPY. That's this position here, which is an Iron Condor as well. This one is set out for 36 days. We are currently $1 in profit on this trade. Down $11 for the day. I'm not too worried about that since we have theta plays going in. That will increase all day today, and so I think we'll be fine. My biggest concern is this NVIDIA. This one is really not anywhere near hitting either of the levels, so I'm just going to leave that alone. We've got a 578 upper and then a 554 lower. Not concerned about that at all. SPY's nowhere near those levels. So, and just to kind of zoom out on the maps here, or the charts, we've got a level here, and we've got a level down a little bit lower than this right here. So, like, we're nowhere near that. I think we're safe on that. I'm leaving that one open. That being said, we now have $225. We could make another trade today. So, I'm actually going to open this up to you guys. What do you think we should do today? Do you think we should? We can't do day trades. We're at our max of day trade of 3, so we can't really do those today. But we could do a swing play on something. We could buy some calls on SPY. We could potentially buy calls on NVIDIA, or we could look through our screeners and find something else. Maybe do something on QQQ. What do y'all want to do? We could research something completely new. It doesn't matter to me. We might look into doing some, you know what? What if we opened up some Iron Condors on SPY, QQQ, and IWM just to show you guys how we can use the option strat tool to put something into effect? Let's do that. If you guys are open to that, I'm open to that. We could do that. And I'm going to give this a price level of like 568. Okay, I think that would be fun. So let's go here, and we're just going to go to the queues. We don't ever do the queues anymore. We can add in Iron Condor position here. Now we need to figure out what it's trading at. It's trading at 483.60 on okay. It's trading at, according to this, it's 483.60. Let's look it up in Tasty, and it's at Tasty Trade has live data, by the way, so it's trading right now at 483.65. So pretty close, 483.65. I want to give it a little room, so we'll go with like honestly like 483. Let's just go with 483. Let's go to optimize. We'll go to 483 on the queues. We want to do a trade for tomorrow. Once again, 483. We got a couple options here. And the most capital efficient, but also the lowest risk or the lowest chance of profit is this Iron Butterfly. We could try to do that and capitalize on a really short spread like this, potentially make quite a bit. The chances of this actually hitting, not great. We don't know the exact percentage number. If I put this into Tasty, it could give us an actual percentage number. Generally, that's a higher risk, higher reward trade. Probably a better one would be something like this. Iron Condor, we have a 24% return on risk and $161 in risk. That seems to be a better trade, a lot less risky. Here's this really safe one for $25 and 175 risk. Why not take a look at this guy here? So that'd be like a 474 and a 493. That actually looks like a really, really safe play. I do want to step out a couple days. Oh yeah, I'm actually really liking this one. Max profit of 42. For those of you who want to take a screenshot of this, let's see. 44.11. This is our. I'm gonna actually see 225. What's our max loss? 158. Let's do a calculator here. 225 divided to $112. So let's try to use 112. Just see what options are available there. That's a lot riskier of an Iron Condor. Wonder if we could increase it out a little bit. Mm-hmm. 472. I think we'll do this one. Just because I want to show you guys multiple trades today instead of just one. So, not as profitable. That's okay. Let's go ahead and jump straight into Tasty Trade, where we're going to put this into reality. All right, here is Tasty Trade. All right, it is a March 28th. So we'll go to that strike price. We buy a 474 put. 474 is right here. We'll buy a put. We're going to sell a 475 put, which is right here, 475. We will sell a 493, which is right here. So we're going to sell that one. And I think we buy a 494 put. We need to have $77 in buying power. Max loss is $77, which is our cost basis there. And the most we can make is about $22. We could potentially pull this in a little bit, maybe make a tad more. Maybe even right here. 79% of profitability, 64% trade. Probably going to be safe on this one. We could open this up just a tad bit. That gives us one more additional percent. We could drop that. Now we're at 81 with a... Ooh, that really tanked our profit though, so probably not that one. Could even push that in a little bit closer. Still at 64%. And what was it? 112. So let's pull that in and move this one back. Okay. Let's move that one. Okay. This is a pretty good risk to reward, I think. $6 move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're out of that expected move range. Let's look at the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out of the expected move range on that side. I think we should be good for one day. So let's just open this up. We got about $30 we could potentially get. I'm going to go for 31. We're going to fire that one, and hopefully it fills. That position is now working. Iron Condor for $30. Let's jump straight back in, and this is on QQQ. If we want, we can replace the order. It'll probably fill, but if we wanted, we could go down a level and increase the likelihood it fills. For instance, if we did a $30 fill for $30 profit, $70 loss. Let's do that. Cancel, and let's see what happens. I think it just closed, or just try to do it. Okay, limit of 30. 0.31 mid price. Let's just wait and let that one trade and see what happens. All right, going from there, we have $155.05 left. Let's do something different here. Anybody have any ideas? So within options trade, how can you view the chart for simulated GL? I'm assuming profit loss. So let's jump back to that. And I'll be honest, Liam, it's much easier on your app, on your phone. It's a lot more helpful. But basically, you'll just scroll all the way to the bottom, and there should be a button. I do want to make sure that you can see that and follow along, though. So, all right. Let's see here. So, you open up this. We just built this one. We did it a little different. I think we moved this down like to something like this. It was 56912. Okay, so we just built this one right here. But yeah, if you've got your graph showing, let's see, or your table, you would hit graph, and then you can change from percentage to dollars amount. So this one shows you how many dollars it's worth. This one shows you what percentage of profit. This shows you your contract value. So at expiration, you want it to be $0. If it's $0, you get 100% max profit. This is your amount of risk, or your percent of max risk. There you go. That's what we got. So hopefully that helps and answers your question. This again is your time. So time frame of now, we would have $0 on this trade. End of today, we would have 8% increase if we're in the middle. And at expiration, we'd have 100% max profit there. Let's go ahead and optimize another one. We could look. Somebody throw out a ticker. What are all the people fangirling over these days? I know it's not Tesla. We've seen a lot of negative sentiment towards Tesla. I know Ford increased yesterday from the tariffs. We could look at Ford. Good old Ford. Looks like it is down a little bit today. Excuse me. Still trading around $10. Ford's a pretty consistent stock to do these theta plays on. Super. I mean, it's just super stable. Another good one is Coca-Cola. I like them quite a bit. It's a lot of opportunity for theta plays. Airline stocks can be good. Let's see. Let's look at Delta. I mean, look at this. $81 risk, $19 profit. Good chance of profit here. Pretty decent. We're only holding it for 2 days. What do we have? 125 left over? 155. Why don't we do that? Why don't we do something like this right here? We could definitely do an airline stock. All right. I am choosing that one. We'll choose something like this. We'll start off with this, and then we'll tweak it how we do, and yeah, go from there. So Delta Airlines. I fly Delta when I fly. I like their international flights. Look at the week to date. I feel like they're going to have another strong move up, so I'm thinking like a 47.50 or something like that. 'Cause I don't know. Let's do like a 47.50, or maybe even a 47.75. Okay, and they have earnings coming up too. That changes things. This right here, this purple line is for earnings. What are options prices like on it? Interesting. You might potentially catch some gains going up into earnings if you want to do something. A lot of times they'll get more volatile the farther out you go. Expected move is really only about $1 or less on this, so pretty safe to trade this one, I think, especially if we're trading down here. I think it wanted us to do something like this right here. Let's go back and check though. It was a 44.5 buy, a 46 sell, a 49.5 buy, which is right there, and then a 48 call sell. So that was our play. It looks like our other one just filled too. I'm curious on this one. I might actually do this just a little bit just to make it a tad safer of a play. Max profit 26. We could do something like this with that 47.50. I kind of like that. And really, you don't have to overthink these too much. I mean, just check out the expected moves, check out the implied volatility. Place your trade. It's now working. We filled our QQQ. We were up $1 for a second, but now we're waiting. Up $24 on Nvidia. We're strongly in profit for the day now. Yeah, we're just going to chill with that, I think. Hopefully that fills before the end of the day. Once again, if we wanted to replace the order and maybe drop it down to like whatever, we could get a little bit of a better fill or a faster fill. For instance, if I did this right here and I did a 34, it might get insta-filled. Boom, it got insta-filled. We just lost a potential of like a couple bucks. Not really too concerned about it though, seeing as we're already in profit $10 on it. So sweet. That's that play there. This is where we're at. Taking a look at 1272 on my Nvidia. Kind of sad that this isn't higher. But I think it's still above break even. I'm going to check my option strat on my phone real fast. See, because I have these saved. And that's the other cool thing. Like, you can save them and just instantly reference your option strat to be able to... Okay. So on this play, we're still in profit here. It's annoying that we're only going to get about $100 off of this trade at expiration. But I am going to keep it open for now. Just monitor it like always, and hopefully it goes up. So really, that's all the trades we're doing for today. Other than that, we just sit and wait and let hopefully the money come in. We do have a last little bit of money. If we didn't have a 3-day trades on our counter, we could potentially launch a trade. Alternatively, we could just hold that money and just chill. So not really sure what we can buy with a $30. Let's see. Maybe something on IWM, but I think it's going to be like a 1 or 2 DTE. So maybe not the best play, but let's take a look at what they have available. Because we can shop if we're not buying, we can still shop. We could buy a call for 209, 2.2512. So probably not worth it unless we have a major swing in price. We could potentially buy a put on the put side, maybe make a little bit of a gain if it dips again, but we don't really have any assurance of that. It's super close to expiration. I don't know. Maybe we just hold it. You don't have to have 100% of your buying power in a trade. In fact, it's probably smarter if we don't. But that's where we're at. 6, 7, 800. Actually, don't require any on these two, which is interesting. So, all right. Well, that's all set up for today. We're up $23, $25, $28 on the day, and we're just going to sit and let those play out. Here's a good look at what we've got. We've got 2 iron condors. We've got another iron condor for 36 days out. We've got another short 1 DTE iron condor here, and a final one on Delta Airlines. So that's our plays for today. We'll just keep an eye on these guys and monitor them to make sure that we end in profit tomorrow. So any questions in the live? Anything you guys want to talk about or discuss? Maybe questions about option strat or my workflow. I say workflow, my day flow, where I wake up, do an analysis on the stock market, check the fear and greed indicator or index, and then make or manage my trades. If so, feel free to ask them in chat. We are still going to stay live for a little bit, just kind of monitor and see what's going on. We might cut this one a little bit early. I know we generally go till 10:30, but it is 9:30 right now, and we are pretty much done managing our trades, our current open trades. So what do you guys have for me? I do want to check into the we transferred the $30 options account. So yeah, we are kind of I guess less than $1. That's probably crypto, like dust or something from crypto. Yeah, it's just random, like nothing, the dust left over from crypto transfers. But we transferred this account to Tasty Live. I don't know that it's hit yet. So you identified some of the bouncing off points for the QQQ price. Can you go over that? Yeah, let's take a look at QQQ. Let's do it here. And I have 4 accounts with Robinhood. Actually 5. QQQ. All right, here's what we got with QQQ. Whenever I take a look at QQQ, actually at any ticker, and I'm doing shorter terms, I definitely want to pull out a little bit. So I'm looking here at the weekly charts on the 1 hour time frame. And that's when I want to zoom in and figure out, hey, here's my high of 494. And I'm just going to go from there. Usually I work my way from the front backwards. So we've got a bounce off point, like a level of support there. We've got another one right there. That's the two major ones. We've got a third one back here. But really, if you want to take a look at it, we've got those. And then we have another one down here, which is going to be a strong or a big support. So that's kind of where we're at. Close time frame, these two major ones here. Farther out, then it's really this right here. So, and we're kind of 50 RSI, so it's kind of trading in between these two upper and lower supports. So you can kind of look to those as those outer ends for the week. And that would be 481.82 and 494.64. And since we're in the middle, you could actually do like an iron condor around those, so like a 495 and a 481. Which actually, if we take a look at our trade, is we went a little bit further out, but our trade was actually around those points. Here's our trade on QQQ. And it was 475 and 492 are the outer limits. But our inner limits are the 476 and the 491, which is probably more important because those are the ones that are going to determine our like break even and stuff. So yeah, that's where we're at there. Looking at our options trades on QQQ, if we can find it. Was this the one we did? 475, 6, 91, 92. And that was our trade we did right here. And just to kind of talk through this QQQ again, these are the support and resistance levels. This is where they've bounced historically. So kind of our thought is if they're bouncing off of these points previously, they'll probably continue to bounce off of similar points. As you can see, they've bounced here and then right here. So very similar levels. It's just a couple cents different. Looking back on a larger time frame, they bounce off of those. Another bounce, but it was just under it. Bounce almost exactly on it. It kind of has these common levels that it bounces off of. And so if you look at the historical data and draw those lines out, you have a good chance of them bouncing off those levels again. And that's why we look at historical data for support and resistance. But yeah, super uneventful day. I know we didn't do the most exciting stuff. We didn't trade 0 DTE options. We didn't really do anything wild or crazy today. But this is safer money, and this is probably where you're going to get the majority of your gains. They're not going to be glamorous. They're not going to be, oh, I just made 1,000% on an options contract on 0 DTE options. It's not going to be that, but it's going to be that steady, $25 here, $50 there, consistent income. And with these swing trades too, you can do those every single day. Or you may have noticed I have one on Tasty. If we go back there, I have this one, and it is set out for 36 days from now. I might close this around 21 days because that's when the most risk starts to come into play. And I have been in this trade for a week, 7 days. So you can use some of the same strategies and stuff to set up these longer term trades. This one will probably be a greater profitable trade, or a little bit of a more profitable trade. Oh, Nvidia's going up too, 1382. That's actually really good news for us. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at here. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, we are going to call it a day. One last view at our positions here. March 28th, we've got earnings coming in soon, so we don't want to fool around too much with that. But here's where we're at. The account is up a little bit today. And yeah. Thank you for visiting. Oh, hang on, I want to answer this question. How do I decide on the bounds of a trade that far out? Same strat, option strat, etc. So whenever I'll just show you on Tasty. So you have something called volatility, right? Volatility is the distance in the waves, okay? And let me just see if I can pull something up here to help explain this. Dude, let's see. All right, take a look at this. Okay, this is Paint, jspaint.app. All right, so you've got this line, right? Volatility. If you have this line, volatility are going to be these waves. Well, let's do this a little differently. You have a line, right? Volatility is going to be these waves. So this is a peak, this is a lower, and then as volatility increases, you get this right here. Okay? And so your volatility is your measure in these swings up and down. So this right here, this level is going to be your volatility, right? And so the higher your volatility, the more risk, and also the higher the premium, because there's more risk, the higher the premium. So something like this right here, say this is $1, this is $2, you could set up a contract and say, oh, here's $3 and here is 0, and it's going to be in between 0 and 3, and it's always is in between there. So you're only going to get like $1 in premium. You're not going to get a lot of premium. But say for this, if 3 is here and 0 is right here, and this is 1 and 2, and you say, oh, it's going to be between 0 and 3, boom, it's in between it. Oh, it's not. Boom, it's in between it. Now it's not. Boom, it's in between it. And so you're going to get it going back and forth through your thing. And you have to hope that whenever it ends down here, that it's in between your price target. And that's why you get more premium, but more risk as well. And so what you can do is you can measure the volatility of a stock. You can find the volatility, like say on Robinhood. You can probably find the volatility. If not, there's indexes that track volatility of the entire market. And basically, basically it's simple. I mean, it's a super simple thing. The longer the time frame is, so if this is 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, the longer the time frame out, the more volatility. So plus volatility minus volatility over here. So if you go, 5 days out, you're going to have, you could say potentially 5 times more volatility, but actually that number might vary. And so you can look at it as this. Say historically SPY has moved 3% in 1 day. So 3% up, 3% down. So the next day, 2 days out, it's probably going to move 6% up or down. And the next day, it's probably going to move like 9%, 12, so on and so forth. If we go and look at Tasty, Tasty is super, super neat because it does all the calculations for you. Kind of why I like Tasty. And you can see SPY. SPY has about a 3% move first day, a 5%, or I'm sorry, I say 5%, a $5 move. This is 2 days out. A 7.65%, 3 or 4 days out. That's over the weekend. Then a 9. And so the farther you get out, the farther the expected move is, right? And so you can use these levels to say, oh, if it's going to move about 20 up or down, well, let's see. Right now it's trading at what, 570? So yeah, you can count out 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so on and so forth, and say, okay, well, I have a 10 expected move down, and I could do these, or I could go all the way out to 20 if I want to be really safe, and then 20 on this side as well. And you'll notice there's these lines here. This is one standard deviation, so this is probably about 20. This is 2 standard deviations. They're probably about 25 or something like that. But that's kind of how you can set those limits to make sure that they're safer. Just look at a larger scale. Similarly, when you look at the charts, if you're doing a week-long hold, you're going to want to step out. You want to go to your month charts. Once your month charts come in, we could probably look at like the 4-hour time frame on the month chart. Boom, there's our 4-hour. And we can say, okay, on our month chart, what are our highs and our lows? Okay, 551 and 596. We've got another one at 575. Let's take that information here. So 551, that could be our outer limit right here. And you'll notice that's just a couple of price targets away from that first standard deviation, which is our 20. And then what did we say for our top one was 590, 598, we'll call it. Once again, we'll go to the top side, and our 598 is once again just a couple of price targets away from that first standard deviation. And so we know those are pretty good price targets, and so you could choose those as your price targets, maybe bring it in a little bit since I think we said 551. That would mean a little bit more profit. So we could sell one, buy one, and then on the 91, we would sell and buy. We have a $58 buying power and $40 profit. We want to increase our profit. We could make these a little bit larger. So now we're up to $100 profit. Now we're up to $130 profit with $170 out of pocket. And that's kind of how we could decide the bounds. It's not a, and what do we say? We expect it to hit like 575. So you could like skew this more. If you want to bring this up closer, you would get more money for it. 166, a little bit more risk, but it's still a pretty safe trade, honestly. Same with this. You could bring those in a little bit, increase your profit to 225 and your loss to 175. We've got 30 days to hold this one. You could close it early, potentially lock in some of those gains. Just depends. There's not a right or wrong answer on this. It's just a, hey, what do you feel comfortable with? Here's how we know what the risk is probably going to be, and how close do you want to get to that? So just kind of a personal preference thing. And the beauty of it is that nobody is going to be wrong. Like, one person might make, $5 more, but that person took on $5 more of risk. Another one might step out and, make only $20 on this trade, but they always make that $20. And so maybe that's worth it to them. They don't want to do a quick gain. So that's something they could do. And that's okay too. It doesn't matter how you trade, as long as you're trading profitable and you're staying within your trade boundaries and your risk levels. So personally, I have a higher risk tolerance, so sometimes I'd like to do like YOLO options and hold them over the weekend, like I did the other day on SPY. Made like $400 off of it, which is a good thing too, because this week we're up like $227, although we lost almost $200 yesterday. So sometimes that's a good thing that we YOLO some of those. Sometimes we lose a little bit of money on that. But that's why we have these safer strategies to finance our not so safe strategies. So hope that answered your question. I know I gave a lot of information there. Yes, you could just use option strat. I think knowing the why behind it's a little bit better. And knowing that it's based on volatility, because then you can say, oh, well, hey, what is the highest volatility? Let's see. What is really, really high volatility? Oh, Save, which I think is Costco. Is that Costco? Maybe. Or is this something? I don't know if it's Costco or not. I think Costco is cost or something like that. Long story short, you could go to this and say, oh, it has a 439.4% implied volatility index. Okay, we take a look at this, and it's probably going to be, okay, no options available. No options available. Okay. The plus or minus move on this, is this a penny stock? Okay, if this is $1, it's a 481% implied volatility. This is not a good example. What's this, Chipotle? Okay. It has some high implied volatility. On these, we need something with a little more. Okay, this might be a better one. Yeah. Okay. Implied volatility of 100 or a $2 move, and you're going to have a lot more expensive options around it based on the based on that particular stock price. And so you can actually potentially make more premium on it. But yeah, appreciate you. Thanks for jumping in, Liam. We're super excited. Will I be doing a YOLO tomorrow or streaming? I generally only stream on Mondays and Thursdays. Sometimes we do YOLOs. I trade almost every day. Generally, I will post my trades in the Discord, the Free the Trade Discord. If you'd like to join, then I can post the link for you guys. We've got about 100 people in there, I think. Yeah, somewhere around 100 people. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty good. We love it. It's not something we're pushing a ton, but really what we're trying to do is create a community where people can learn how to trade rather than have to listen to someone tell them, hey, you need to trade such and such, and not telling them why, not giving them the resources to know how to trade or how to do analysis. And I think that's not good. I don't think it's a good thing. Yesterday in the Discord, we had a dude who reached out and he said, look, this is a trade and I made it all on my own with no input from anyone else. And I was sitting there watching that guy make that post, and I was like, this is what it's all about. Given the resources and the learning materials for people to go and make their own decisions, to know what they're looking at, to make those informed decisions and stuff, and be profitable. And so that was super cool. But yeah, we'd love to have you. Feel free to join in. Any other questions from anybody else in the Discord or anybody else watching on YouTube? All right, then I think we're going to call this one about 30 minutes early today, and we will see you on the next Free the Trade live stream. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and Good luck out there in the stock market, and we'll see you next time on Free the Trade.